Folks, so excited to speak to our guest today. In fact, I met him last week and I said, we've got to talk like as soon as possible. So here we are. Marco Benitez was raised in Mexico. He built his career at the intersection of health, technology, and sports medicine. He is actually a Taekwondo champion, a biomedical engineer, and also most recently the co-founder of ROOK, that's spelled ROOK, which is a tech platform that assimilates data from diverse wearables to make personalized wellness accurate and accessible so people can live healthier lives. We're going to hear about his career a little bit and about ROOK, but I thought, and Marco agreed to this, that we would take a little different approach here based on our conversation. And the approach we're going to take is me acting as, or maybe not acting as a person like many of you out there who is just terribly confused and overwhelmed by just the innumerable wearables and platforms out there, the wellness apps, the supplements, and so on. And so I'm going to use our brief few minutes with Marco today to really kind of pick his brain on those. And I suspect it'll help me. I hope it'll help you too. Marco, how does that sound to you? And maybe we could begin by giving a little bit of your background for how you ended up. I mean, that's from Taekwondo champion to biomedical engineer to entrepreneur of a wellness wearable platform. It's a hell of a journey.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for this time. I'm very excited to be here. But yeah, for me, wearables and all these devices are I'm very excited for everything in this space. It's like I'm very geek when we are talking about wearables and data. To give you a little bit of my background and also why I'm so keen on all this stuff,
Hmm.
let me give you my quick background.
Sure.
Well, yes, as you said, I am a Taekwondo champion down in Mexico. Um, my I think that was really perfect for me because when you are doing different type of sports or martial arts like taekwondo give you so many values. For me, one of them was discipline, the other one was perseverance,
Mm.
and those one shape my future in everything I do,
Mm.
from my school on the college, business wise, at the same time in my work.
Mm.
It's like you have to do what you have to do every single day. And then eventually you will achieve your vision.
Mm.
But you have to do it step by step. It's not that from one day to another you will become a black belt. Take a
Mm.
lot of time. And when I was in Taekwondo, for example, I started when I have like 6 years old. So I was very young. But in order to receive the black belt, also I have to be someone who has more than 18 years in terms of years old. So during that process, I was something called black red belt.
Mhm.
So it's like you have to be very like, it's like I have the skills, I have the knowledge, but I need to be an adult to receive a black belt.
Right.
So that it's also like sometimes frustrating.
Yeah.
Frustration is also that you have to work with,
Mm.
and sports give you that
Mm.
opportunity. It's like resilience also.
Mm.
It's the same thing with when you are fighting. You have in
Mm.
front of you someone who is
Mm.
really keen to win
Mm.
that fight. And of course, some fights you will win, some fights you will lose,
Mhm.
and that's okay. But everything will give you more experience to win the battles
Mm.
that really mean something. So for me, as you can see, sports and especially taekwondo, martial arts are
Mm.
everything.
Mhm. What's really fascinating to me is so you're a technologist and a tech entrepreneur in the deepest sense, and that's what you do this with this platform that brings all this data from all these different devices and wearables and assimilates them and tries to create some sort of coherent information that can actually personalize usable advice and information. But what you just said and talked about, I think may be a key to some of the challenges I think myself and others face with using all of these apps and wearables and even supplements and programs. And I think I'm going to name what I heard from you because this is nothing to do with technology and everything to do with behavior change. So you talked about
Exactly.
discipline, you talked about perseverance, you talked about patience. And I've inserted while you were talking, I was taking notes, and I inserted habit formation because it sounds like what you were saying is you can't expect, you need the discipline and perseverance and the patience, and you have to do it. You make it a habit, a ritual of these behaviors. You talked about accepting frustration and being able to bounce back from, I assume from errors and mistakes and falls. So that sense of resilience. So those are at least five or six things that have nothing to do with technology. And I wonder if somehow, have you even in your development of these tools, it just seems I can't imagine you don't have these things sort of infused. I don't even know how you would infuse them into your work, but it seems like you've already helped me enough to even explain to me, oh, my successes are largely due to not just the content I receive from these wearables, but actually these principles of behavior that really are what made you a champion and continue to keep you in the game, physically, emotionally, etc. So I just wonder how that sounds to you and how you've used that.
Yeah, exactly. And let me tell you a quick story.
Okay.
I love stories. But when I was very young, early 2000s, or even before, I was one of the first ones to use the Polar HR, the chest heart rate. So that was beautiful for me because I learned so much around that because he was not only training with my
Mm,
coach,
mm,
but also understand even more
mm,
about my behavior during my trainings. So I started to see my heart rate beat, my effort zone,
mm.
and of course the calorie burn. But for me, the most important thing was like how was my heart rate beat during the fightings. So that helped me also to improve.
Oh,
So
interesting.
so that for me shape again. For me, this information changed. So I now on those days I remember very well my coach saying, now we have the information, now we have the tools to improve it, to improve everything.
Do you now you are you with your company, you are taking all of these what exactly does Rook do and what's the problem it's actually solving for?
Yeah, the problem itself, it's like we have too many wearables outside. It's like and some companies want to start using the information of those wearables to make improvements in the end users. For
Mm,
example, longevity space. It's more in the reactive rather than in the sorry. They are more focused in the preventive
mm,
rather than in the reaction in the
mm,
reactive way.
mm.
So in order to have all this information, one way is with the wearables. It's like they have everything. They have the steps, the heart rate beat, the HRV, the sleep data, the stress levels, the blood oxygen, the glucose levels, the blood pressure, the I don't know, all this type of information.
Yeah.
And now they can improve you because now they can shape an holistic picture of yourself.
Hmm.
And now they can do something with that information. So the problem is with those companies, they need to integrate with all the wearables outside. They
I
need to
see.
integrate with the Apple Watch, with the Polar, with the Garmin's, with the Whoops, with the Auras,
And so,
all of
so
them.
what you're saying is people are using different wearables, and what kind of companies would want to have that kind of interoperability and integration with all of those? Like what company would want to do that, or what entity would want to do that?
Mainly all wellness, longevity, digital health platforms, hospitals, also big pharma in the clinical trials and real world evidence.
Mm.
They are trying to
Mm.
to 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 use that information different purposes. Definitely,
Mhm.
yes. With big pharma, it's more in the clinical trials space,
Right.
so they can have more data points and try to identify adverse events.
Right.
In the digital health space, they are looking for remote patient monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to identify specific things in, I don't know, in chronic disease management, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in your home, and then you can share all these data, and they can,
Interesting.
add some alerts. And in the wellness longevity space, they are trying to customize your experience. They are
Right.
trying to improve yourself. It's a completely different thing. And they are,
Hmm.
they can customize your workouts, your breathe exercise, your, nutrition, everything. Um,
Hmm.
so all these companies need the wearables and need all to use these data.
Right. And so and so these are like you say longevity and wellness. So are there, can you name some like an example of a company? And also are any provider groups or when you say hospital systems, is anyone use there yet? Because I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. For example, I can tell a couple of names because we
Mm.
can't say all the names
Right, of course. Yeah.
because we have some, NDAs. But for
Right.
example, Novos, it's a longevity platform that they are
Hmm.
using vitamins and different type of things. It's amazing company, amazing company.
Hmm.
They are really science validated. And on top of your activity, they can give you, and your sleep data and stress level, they can
Hmm.
give you different type of vitamins for you to
Hmm.
improve yourself. And it's a longevity platform. So they are
And
doing
it's
really,
called,
really great.
no, how do you spell that?
Novos is
Oh,
Novos.
Novos. Okay. Never heard of it. Okay.
Yeah. There are so many outside
Mm.
on other areas like in the wellness space,
Mm.
fitness space too, fitness, fitness clubs
Right. Would
that they
want
want
to.
to customize.
Yeah. How about providers like physician groups or hospital systems? Have they gone there yet or
Yes,
no?
we have one of the biggest ones, but I can't tell the
Mm.
name, but I can tell you that they are on all over the US. Hospitals is one of the biggest one. And then they have a specific remote care program.
Mm.
So they are using our technology to extract the data from different end users, patients,
Hmm.
that they have their own wearable. And now, or CGM, for example, if they
Right.
have a CGM, now we can collect that data to them. So
Yeah.
I can't tell the name, but it's a
No, no,
really
no.
one of the
That's,
biggest one.
I mean, the fact that it's already happening is really impressive. Again, I think what's really encouraging about this direction is that, and I can see now we're on sort of a path, a journey here, an evolution of this from, I remember the first Fitbits were so crude and
Yeah.
rudimentary, and it wasn't that long ago, probably 10 years,
Yeah.
10, 12 years, and and now we're at a place where they're able to make these correlations and tell you, and you're talking about an evolution now where, they're going to be third party players like my doctor or my health system or one of these longevity companies or my gym where literally because of things like you're doing all this data will be assimilated and I think that it's really that sort of the correlation power, the predictive power and the ability to take this data and actually come back and say and customize it and say here's what you're experiencing and here's our recommendation for what you could do. That would be amazing. Do you think, first of all, do you agree with that picture? Am I missing something? And when do you think we're going to be at that sort of, I don't know, that next phase, if you will?
Yes, 100% I agree with you. By the way, we have one company, it's one of our clients, they are using for automobile. So they are the ones who create the infrastructure inside different big automotive companies like General Motors and
Oh,
Audi and
car,
Ferrari, on
automotive.
automotive. So, yeah, sorry, in the cars industry. So basically, what happened
Mhm.
over there, we were in the headquarters like 1 month ago, and
Mhm.
they create the first car that you connect your wearable data, and the car knows you, and then they can change the behavior, they can change the AC, the if you are very stressed, they change the colors, a couple of massages in the
Wow.
seat. So the music change. So
Hmm.
you will not believe how connected you feel with the car, with your car. It's like now your car know you. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a really
Wow.
interesting sensation because they were like, yes, try it. And we connected our Apple Watch and was like immediately the car knows my feelings.
Like emotional?
And well, not like that, but it's like they know that I have a very bad sleep last night. They know that I'm very stressed right now,
Oh,
and
wow.
change the AC, change the music. It's really crazy to feel that sensation with your car. It's like really interesting. So the
Wow.
same thing are happening with your fitness apps,
Mhm.
with your wellness apps, with all these type of things. So to your point, yes, I'm 100% agree.
What was the information that you and your coach used, and how did that change your behavior?
One of the most important things was control my breath.
Mm.
Control, if I can control my heart rate beat, I will have more endurance during the fighting because the fightings are like 3 minutes per round.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. 3 minutes, it's a lot
So,
when you
so,
are fighting with
so can
someone
I just
else.
could I just say something? I used to box for about 3, 4 years. I trained with a professional boxer, and the training was, we did training, but we were in the ring, every week. Those 3 minutes. I mean, you say to yourself 3 minutes. I mean, I can't even tell you. I mean, it was almost like standing on your hands
Yeah.
and walking around your hands for 3 minutes. It was so exhausting. And so for those who haven't been in a ring for 3 minutes, I just have to tell you, it's not, unless you've done it, it's hard to imagine what it means and how hard it is to be in that ring for 3 minutes. And then to,
No,
to
it's a
do it
lot.
again and again and again. Yeah. So you were saying knowing your heart rate, what did you do to control it? And was part of it also just, is it your thinking? Is it your mind? Is it what about it helped you with your breathing and your, yeah.
Yeah. So now with that information, now we can do my trainings are going to be different.
Mm,
So we're more explosive. So I
mm,
can have more endurance during the
interesting.
fightings. I used to run more, but with the sprints. So was sprint very powerful sprints
I
and then
see.
keep running so I can have more space in my lungs and my heart rate can improve themselves also. It's a
Mm,
muscle at the end of the
right.
day, your heart.
Right.
So that type of course,
Interesting.
nutrition and all these type of things. So for me,
Yeah.
that's why the last time we have this conversation, I told you like these wearables can give you a lot of information and it's very important
Mm,
because now you can correlate information. That's what we did on those days. And that helped me also to improve myself.
mm,
That's where I saw like, aha, this is an aha moment. Of course,
mm.
it's difficult sometimes because I didn't have the knowledge on those days, but my coach does
Knowledge of what?
of how to use the heart rate beat,
Interesting.
how to know how to use your breathe to improve your heart rate beat.
Right. Got it.
Now we have HRB. On those days, also we had it before HRB.
Right.
HRB right now is changing a lot of the things
Heart
with the
rate
information.
variability. Tell me how it's
Exactly.
changing. How's that measurement changing?
It's the same. It's the same measurement. It's what I'm trying to say here is more like how you are using that information for
Mm,
stress levels,
yeah.
for or also that you are focusing more
Mm,
to the sleep information. Sleep. This is just recently
mm,
new about the importance of sleep. We always know that sleep is one of the best parts of our,
mm,
24 hours day because
mm.
at the end of the day is where you can regenerate everything.
Right.
So now that you can have that information, now you can take better decisions. On those days, we didn't have that information about
Right.
sleep, but now we have it. So in the past, and I'm talking, when I'm saying the past, I'm talking about 25 years maybe,
Right.
and we're completely different. Even though that we had some wearables, the information that we receive from there were completely different.
Mm,
Now we have more precision, and also the devices are more accurate.
mm. What do you consider? and again, kind of going back to this issue, I know I face and I know others too. I mean, I talked to some friends and some use Oura rings and some use things like the Whoop
Mhm.
band and Fitbit, and on and on. And then you were talking about the Polaris, which I've seen but I've never used. Um, what, do you have a story or examples of, and particularly, you're taking all this data with what you're doing with Rook, your company, and you're bringing it together. What is that? I guess my question in a way is, why do you need to do that? Like, like it seems to me there are now more, I don't want to say problems, but you get this data, and like for example, I did have a device, and it was measuring my HRV, and then it told me every day, your kind of readiness, my heart rate variability, how energetic or
Mhm.
ready I was, and some days I was low readiness, and it kind of said, maybe you should take it easy or recover. And other days it was high readiness, and go out and do your workouts and be active, and just some. But it seems to me that there was I stopped using it after a month because it just, I didn't really, I was like, okay, I kind of know when I'm not feeling well. The HRV confirmed it. And actually, to be honest with you, when the HRV, said you're feeling great and I didn't feel great, or it said you feel crappy, but I felt great, I didn't listen to the HRV. I listened to myself. And so, and I was measuring body fat through it. I mean, I don't know. So, do others have this problem? Have you encountered this? Is this one of the things yeah.
Yes, yes. I think you have a very good point, and it's like you have too much information in one place, right?
Mm, mm,
And also, it's how to use it. It's very difficult. Sometimes, if you are not very like in the industry and you are not so really, you see all the details.
mm.
Sometimes it's like you will feel with a lot of stress with all this data, and now what else, right? It's that feeling that so many people is not using wearable devices.
Mm.
To For me, I think it's completely different. For me, that information allows you to improve yourself. It's like if you have a very bad night,
Hmm.
but it's like a lot of you know so many days having the same patterns.
Yeah.
Now you have one way to identify what's going on over there.
Yes.
You can start to make correlations like, hey, I take the dinner at 10 p.m.,
Hmm.
or maybe I taking one, I don't know, a beer
Ah,
or a
I see.
wine or something. It's like you can
Yeah.
start doing more, but everything is all around prevention. Because if you
Yeah.
see the battery, if you see the readiness score
Yeah.
that day, maybe it doesn't make sense for
Right.
one day, but
Right.
makes sense if you measure the other days, if you made the correlation between each week, each month. So you need more time with the wearable, but you have to analyze the data. And today, the
Mm.
wearables, they are trying to do so. And I think they are doing really well.
Mm.
If I go back 20 years ago,
Mm.
it's a completely different thing.
Right. I have not used Fitbit or Whoop or Aura yet, but what I've heard from folks who do is that it does, at least it's starting to your point, use some of the advanced
Yes.
analytics, even a little bit of artificial intelligence now to really essentially do what you're saying, which is it'll look at all these data points and start to correlate them. And the power it has, I think, in addition to obviously being a machine, so it has computing power that is, way beyond any human mind or collectively even. Um,
Mhm.
it's actually pulling data from not just from Zeev Neuwirth, but from a lot of other users. So it starts to make correlations that,
Exactly.
and then apply them back to me and say something like you said, which is like, listen, your sleep is really not optimal, and we're seeing this, but we're, it's due to, you know, you're eating too late, or you had that drink, or blah blah blah, and it's able to say that not just because it looked at my data, but it looked at, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not tens of millions of other individuals, and God knows the billions of data points there, and it's able
Yeah.
able to make that correlation. So, I see, that's really actually helpful to sort of start to understand the power of these tools. They're not just me looking in a mirror. It's a very,
Mhm.
very powerful magical mirror in some sense that
Yeah,
tell,
they are.
right?
Right, right. I think that's exactly the whole point. It's like also we are trying to help them to improve their technology. We are helping them to improve. It's like Tesla today.
Mm,
It's crazy to have these cars that drive by themselves.
right.
The automatization, it's thanks to us that we are using all these cars that help them to improve the algorithms. Eventually, they will drive alone, 100%.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the wearables devices. We are helping them to improve the algorithms.
Mm,
So now we can take a better decisions with all this information. I think every single
mm,
hardware is really good. It's
mm,
really great, in fact.
yeah.
The
Mm,
Apple Watch, I think, is one of the best.
wow.
They are really great. They are doing things really different in terms of the data that they are receiving. They were the first ones to receive an FDA clearance.
Right.
So they are taking things really seriously.
Mm,
The problem is that when you receive all this data, it's so complicated. If you go directly to Apple Health Kit and you see all this information, it's like it's too much, even for me,
wow.
that I really
Wait,
see
what, so
all
what
this
does Apple
data.
have? I don't have an Apple Watch, so I don't use it. What like what kinds of data feedback does it give you?
I mean, the problem is that they don't give you any feedback. That's the only problem
Ah, so they're
that you
collecting
receive.
it. Okay.
They are collecting all your data from your Apple Watch, from, I don't know, heart rate beat, HRB, sleep data, you
Wow.
know,
I imagine movement.
movements, it's steps. It's a lot.
Wow.
Blood oxygen, you know, too many information, which is great. I think it's
Wow.
really great to have all this
Wow.
information. But the problem is that you will have everything in one app, but it's like too much information, and it's like, now what? What can I
Right.
do with all this information? And of
Right.
course, if you have someone who can help you to improve yourself in a
Mm,
specific thing that you are looking for, I think you have everything over there and you can take better decisions. But now, when we are talking about the Whoops and the Auras and also, the Fitbits, or Fitbit more or less, but the new Google wearable, and all of them, they are improving with things. For example, it's another one who is doing amazing. But they have new scores. They are trying to
mm,
make actionables with the data, trying
right.
to make all these correlations. I think that's where you can see a lot of improvement. But again, hardware today, it's really great. I think it's
Mm,
improving so much, and the data that you are receiving, they have FDA clearance. I think
mm,
that's amazing. At least for
it,
me, it's
it
like now
is.
you can use these wearables as medical devices. I mean,
Yeah.
this is something.
What do you use? What kind of devices are you using or do you find helpful for you? And you mentioned sleep a lot.
Yeah. Well, I have right now like 4 or 5
So you
wearables in my body, but that's because of my company, and that's because I'm the worst end user ever for my developer teams. Because it's like I produce a lot of data, I do a lot of workouts, I do a lot of different type of things, and I'm trying to use all these wearables so now they can,
Hmm,
because our algorithms every single time are better
right,
when they are receiving more data
right.
from end users. So, but for me,
Hmm,
what I saw, the best wearable for me is the
hmm,
Whoop, for example. Whoop for me
hmm.
works really good.
Whoop, yeah.
Yeah, I do jujitsu, I do martial arts, I do workouts, I run, I
Wait,
swim.
so can I ask you a question? With the thing like Whoop and others, do you have to join? You get the wearable, but do you have to join something to as well? And that was one of the things that confused me. Is like I went online, and it's just like, do I have to become a member and pay every month for something, or is it just
Yeah.
one time? Yeah, you do.
No,
Okay,
it's a membership. Yeah, yeah, it's a
okay,
membership. So
okay.
basically, the wearable is for free, and then it's
Mhm.
like a monthly pay that you have to do.
I
It's
got it.
it's yes,
Okay,
yes,
so I didn't
exactly.
misunderstand that. It was just
No, no,
like,
no.
yeah, okay. Which actually, given our conversation and given what you're saying, makes a lot of sense. It's not so much the device. That's just and that's really that's a breakthrough for me. It's not, and I wonder if it would help others too. It's not the device that makes a difference. That's just the data provider.
Exactly.
It's actually the the information, the actionable steps, the monitoring, the coaching, the feedback. It's more than the device, and that's so on Whoop, do you get like a person or is it all automated or both, some
No,
combination?
everything is automated.
So the
Yeah.
membership still, you're getting automated feedback.
Yes, yes. You have like a new AI tool over there. I don't use it too much because
Mm,
it's like it's too early
mm,
yet. I
mm,
think it's not so good, the
mm,
AI tool they
mm,
have over there, but I use all this information so I can take better decisions. So for me, it was impactful
mm,
to see how my stress levels change a lot when I drink a beer or something in the night. For
mm.
me, that was really powerful,
Like in what way?
really powerful.
What showed up on what measurement showed changed when you drank a beer?
For example, the rest heart rate,
Hmm.
instead of being in the 57, 60 more or less, it goes to 80.
Wow.
So it's a lot. So it's a lot of stress in your body
Wow.
just for one beer or a couple of beers.
That's crazy.
That's why you don't sleep really well when
Oh
you are
my God.
taking when you
When you
drink
drink.
alcohol. Uh-huh.
Did you make that correlation just by seeing it, or did it actually say to you something? Did it
No.
give you a tip off?
No, was on me
Yeah.
looking all these patterns.
You saw the
And
pattern.
yes, of course, they have a diary over there. And if you
Mhm.
fulfill all this diary, that will
Right.
help you also too
Right.
to start to
Right.
make all these correlations.
Right.
I'm not very good with the diaries because
Mhm.
it's like I have to
Right.
run very fast and I'm doing too many things at the same time.
Right.
But what I
Right.
can do, it's like I give, I have my own notes.
Well, you know what? I find the same thing. Like I signed up with this one and it wanted me to put in my, my meals. And I was just like, I'm just not that, compliant. I don't have the, just to, punch it in and then, I don't know. And I'm sure there are other apps I could have used to take a picture and that would have done it
Exactly.
too. So I know that. But have any of these devices and like with the Whoop, where the coaching and that's automated, do they somehow leverage or include these issues you mentioned about discipline and perseverance and patience and frustration and resilience and kind of emotional well-being? Is any of that baked in terms of, I guess it's really about behavior change and habit formation, or are they not quite there yet?
That's a really good question. Mm, I'm trying to remember if they have something. They don't,
Hmm.
but everyone who is trying to improve themselves, it's like the only thing you need to know is that it takes time.
Hmm.
There is no magic pill. There is no magic solution for your health, and everything take time. So it's like no, they don't have. They have like some engagement tools,
Hmm.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. They are trying to engage with the end
Mm.
user, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that if you are going to pay for something, you have to use it and trying to make it the best with the information.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have something. It has to
Yeah.
be on you
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Um, Marco, this was even beyond what I had hoped for or expected. I just want to thank you for what you're doing with your company, what you're doing with your career, and you're a great example that you're walking the walk here. You're actually doing what you're talking about, which I think is high integrity, and just would love to follow up with you sometime.
I would love to. I would love to. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.